Hey guys, welcome back to KY Coins and Collectibles. And today I want to talk about Morgan silver dollars and my journey on completing my silver dollar collection. This is the Morgan silver dollars. I have spent a long time and a lot of money trying to complete this set. And I just want to give you my thoughts and ideals and some insights and maybe some things you can do to help you on your journey to collecting silver dollars. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. Excuse me. I've started about 15 years ago collecting. I'm 36 now, so I was kind of young, and it wasn't really popular when I started. A lot of people that I knew didn't really know anything about coin collecting. So it's been a painful, long journey, and really only in the last few years have I started really upping my collection and trying to complete it. There's a lot to it. It's a big set. There's 96 coins in the whole set. A lot of mints, a lot of different mint marks, dates, and mint mark combinations. So there's a lot of coins, and they get expensive. And it just really depends on how you want to do your set. You can put as much money as you want to in collecting. You can buy lower grades, higher grades, cleaned, coils. There's so many different ways you can do it. Me, I had a bunch of Morgan dollars, and I put together a date set, and that's just one of every date. And there's only a handful in that set. There's not as many as there is in the mint mark set. So the date set is just it starts from 1878 and it goes through 1921, and you don't have to put the mint marks in there. You can put any mint mark you want. So that set was a lot easier to put together, and I more or less had all the coins that I needed to put a mint mark or a date set together, because like I said, there's not as many coins and it's kind of easy. Only a few coins are hard, like the 94s, 93s, 95s. Those are some of the harder years to get, but it's very doable. You can go to a coin show or coin shop or pawn shop, and you can negotiate, get lower grades, and you can put a set together pretty fast. But after I did that, I started on this mint set, mint mark set. So it's basically one of every coin that was made, and from each mint. So there's a few different mints. You all know there's the Carson City, which is some of the harder ones to get. New Orleans, and that's got the O mint mark. The S is for San Francisco. In the 1921s, they have Denver and San Francisco. And they're Philly. The Philly mint mark, there's not a Philly mint mark. So if it don't have a mint mark on the reverse, and on the reverse of the coin, which is the back, this is the obverse, and the reverse is the back of it. The mint mark will be down here between the D and O in dollar. And I believe this one does not have a mint mark down at the tail feathers. So it's a Philly, and it is a 1921. So, yep, no mint mark on that one. So this is a Philly. And let me see if I've got one out here that has a mint. Okay, here's a cleaned one. It's been cleaned, so that's why it's a little shiny. And these, as you collect them, you'll come to realize that a lot of them have been cleaned. So a long time ago, back in the day, people would clean them. They'd either take a cloth to them, or they'd whiz them, or try to polish them, make them just more shiny. And it wasn't until probably the 70s and 80s and 90s until it got popular not to clean them. Because used to, everybody cleaned them. It was just very normal. So, and this one, like I said, is 1881, and it is a New Orleans. So on the reverse here, on the bottom, down there between the D and O, below the tail feathers, is an O mint mark. So, like I said, this one's been cleaned. This one's not been cleaned as much. It's got a little bit of luster left on it, but you can see the big difference. So after I done my date set, I started putting together a date and mint set. So like I was saying, there's 2 books, and there's a spot for every date and its mint marks. So each date, starting, we'll say, with 1878, and I've got these backwards here, so we'll do this. And sorry for the camera shaking. I'll move my camera back a little bit so it's not touching the table and it won't shake as much. There we go. We're good now. So starting at 1878, there was 3 coins made from 3 different mint marks. There was a 78 Philly, 78 CC, 78S. And then the same thing goes on, 78 Philly, or a 79 Philly, 79 CC, which is the Carson City, 79O for New Orleans, and then a 79S. So as you can tell, with a series like this, there's going to be so many more coins to collect. It's been a very long process collecting all these, and I'm so glad that I started with a date set, because starting with this set, it would have been really overwhelming. And when I started with the date set, I really come to find out, I realized how much I loved collecting Morgan dollars. And I feel like maybe if I started with this, it would have been really overwhelming and I'd have got aggravated. But starting with the date set, it allowed me to pretty much fill an album up and enjoyed the process. And it was very doable. So that really made me fall in love with collecting Morgan dollars. So I'm glad I did it that way, because I would hate to have started on this set and got a few coins in and then just got aggravated because some coins I couldn't find. So I'm glad I did it that way. This set's been really nice. This is more of a 5, 10, 15 year journey. Unless you just got a bunch of money and you just want to go out and buy all the coins real fast off eBay, it's going to cost you a lot to do that. I've went to coin shops, coin shows. I followed stuff online, Craigslist, eBay. I've posted stuff about needing certain coins, and there's not always going to be the coin you're looking for available at the time you're wanting it. So you kind of have to just come across it when you can, or you're probably going to be paying more for it. And that's kind of what happened when I got down to my last few coins, more of the key dates and the harder ones to find. I got down to it, the last 4 or 5 coins, and I couldn't find them. They were available for sale, but I just had to pay way too much for them, and I had to pay up to get them. So a lot of people, with that being said, a lot of people say buy your key dates and your rare dates first, That's just so hard to do, because when you're talking about a coin that is $1,000 to $2,000 for like a one that looks awful and then wore out, that's just really hard to do. So that was hard for me to do. Now I got lucky and bought some key dates early on, but for the most part I had probably 20, 30, 40 Morgans, and I had a lot of them. A lot of them wasn't really repeatable dates, like the same dates and mint marks. So I got to fill up the album pretty fast. And these are coins that were left over from my date set. And what I done is, whenever I started working on these, I did take coins out of my date set to put in here. And over the time, as I bought more and more collections, I got more and more Morgans, and I put them back in my date set to fill it back up. So once I started collecting the silver dollars, I had to use the coins I had to fill these up. And as I went out and I got more and more into it, I started making a list. I would basically write down, here's ones for my I had this one from my walkers. So this was some of the walkers I was needing a while back, and some of them are the harder dates. But I would do this with my Morgans. I would write down 89cc or 78 Carson City or whatever it was. I would just write it down, and when I went out to places, I would just try to find it. If they didn't have it, I would just go on and keep looking. I'd go somewhere else. So that's kind of how it started. But as it progressed and I got more and more coins filled up, there was fewer holes that were empty. But the holes that were empty in the album were harder dates. And there's probably, I want to say, once you get down to your last 10 coins, that's when you really start spending a lot of money, because normal dates for Morgans you can pick up for $25, $30. You can fill up almost both books for $25 to $35, $40, pretty easy. You can look through bins. You can watch like auctions on eBay. Go type in the coin you need and go to look through 100 different coins and start making bids. Or if they have, I go to the like you can ask best offer. If you see a coin that's selling for $50 and they have or best offer, I go in. I'll put $30, and then if he wants to negotiate halfway, somewhere's in between. I've done that a lot of times. So filling up most of it was pretty easy and inexpensive. But I mean, it does add up. When you're spending $40 a coin, it does add up. 10 coins, it's $400. So you still got, that's a lot of money, $400. But once you get past all that, you narrow it down to the 10 last or 15 last coins. That's going to be really hard. And this is where it starts to get hard and aggravating, because you spent $40, $50 or $100 on some nice coins, and now you have to spend $4 or $5 to $6, $7, $800 on the last few, and then a couple thousand on the last couple. So it's very painful and a long process on the end of it. But once you do it, I mean, you're good. Like, you've got it done, and you've got a set that will just increase in value over time. And it's so fun. Like, I had my son helping me. We looked through Morgans. We've been on family trips, and I've got to go look at coin shops all over the place. So it's been really fun. a nice journey talking to people. And I always love talking to people at coin shows or that collect, and we talk about coin collecting together, how their process is going, and we exchange stories about certain key dates or what coins they're looking for. And it's probably 90% of the time our stories are about the same. So I know y'all will be able to relate a lot if you collect Morgans. You get down to that last 10 and it's a pain in the butt, and that's what everybody says, but it's so worth it at the end. And I'll show you some coins here. I'll try not to make this video too long. I've got a full set here, and the last probably 10 coins I had to get. And y'all probably know, and I'm going to go over some of the key dates here. And I've actually made a list, and I recommend you do this. Like, as you're buying these coins, if you go out and you buy a date or a coin, write down how much you paid for it. So, because I want you to have a list like this. Like, you can just print it off, Morgan Silver Dollar Collection checklist. And I made this list earlier this year, and it's so cool to look over. And you can pause it and look at some of the dates that I've got and what I've got them marked for. Because when you keep up with it, you'll have a total of like what you have in each album, and you'll be surprised on how much money you've spent on 2 albums. But there is a lot of coins, so you do have a lot of value hoarded up in two little albums. But keep up with how much you're paying for everything. That's a big must for me, and a big recommendation, because you're going to have key dates. And I'll go ahead and we'll start with the key dates. This 85cc, I've got mine listed at $650. I believe I bought mine off eBay, and it was probably $400 or $500, and it was in good shape. But I've got, at the time when I made this list, and what I did, I put as of 2/16/2024, and I'd done comparables to eBay, sold items, and some of the gray sheets at the time. So that's kind of what they're going for in the grade that I think they are. So this is a must, and it's good if something ever happens to you. I'm big on future planning and wealth management. So what that means is, like, if something happens to me, my wife and kids can come in here, and when they open this is going to be on the inside corner, and they're going to see album 1 $7,000, album 2 $12,000. So that's a big must for me. Like, I want my family to know what I've got invested in these, so they don't go out and sell it for both of them for $5,000. So I put some information on it, like as of these numbers, because these change daily, especially yearly. So I put as of 2/16/2024. So that lets them know that I'd done this on that date, and this is what they cost at that time. So that's a big key takeaway from this video, is just when you buy stuff, write it down, make sure you know what you've got invested in it. And I'll show you some other key dates on here. So, and I'll show you the coins, but some of the last few key dates, I've got stars by mine, and I've put star key dates, money, money, money. So the 85cc was a hard one for me. The 89cc, I got lucky and picked it up earlier on, and that was one of the most expensive ones I had bought early on. That 89cc is it's a hard date to get. And it's going to be in bad shape. Anything in decent shape is going to be over $1,000 for the 89cc. Of course, The hardest one, and it's just next on my list, so I'll just go ahead and tell you, is the 93S, the key date of the series. The hardest one you'll find and pay for will be the 93S, without a doubt. Unless you just pay something crazy for a better condition grade on another coin. 93S will be the most expensive one. And I have about $2,000 in mine. So that's what I've paid for mine. And it's a AG3 details. It's got good details, I think. It's nice, has even wear on it. But try to buy it graded if you can. They only made 100,000 of them. I believe the survival rate is down below 10,000. So there's not many of them. If you buy one, try to make sure it's graded, or at least know the markers on it that will tell you if it's real or not. Because they only made so few of them that all the coins have certain die markers on it that you can pretty much tell if it's a real, legit coin or not. So do your research on before you buy that one. Because like I said, you're going to be spending at least $2,000. And I looked for months and months, and I watched and tried to offer and watched. I mean, it took me forever to pull the trigger on that coin, and finally did. So it was pretty magical. And I went to a bunch of coin shows, and nobody had one. They had one at home put up, but no, I went to 2 different coin shows, and nobody had one for sale. They said they had one, or it had been sent off to be graded. So it was very, very aggravating to find one. So I basically just had to pull the trigger online off eBay, actually. But I made sure the seller had good feedback. They looked reputable, and so on. So you don't get screwed. It's a lot of money. Do your research. The next one is the 94, the 1894 Philly. That is a heart key date too. I had one of my coin shop owners ask around and look for one for me for about a month or two, and he finally found one, and I believe I paid $700 for it. I got a really good deal on it, and it was in decent shape. And since then I have actually got another one, so I've got 2, and the one I've got in here I believe is a very nice, and I've got $1,000 on it. Now all these are in my album except for this 93S. So a lot of them, maybe when the time comes, I will take them out of the album and get them graded, because I've got some really nice ones in the album, and I think they need to be graded. And next on the list is the 95s. Them are going to be some hard dates. All of the 93s are hard dates, so just because I don't have a star by it doesn't mean it's not a key date. All of your 93s, 93 Philly, Carson Cities, New Orleans, and San Francisco, all of your 93s are going to be hard dates, a few $100s at least. Your 94s are tough dates, and your 95s are really hard dates. Your 95 Philly is a proof only, and they only made 800 of them. I believe 880 is what the book says. So that is a $50,000 coin. There is a spot in here for it, but I do not have it and do not plan on really getting it. Maybe if I hit the lottery, I might pull the trigger on it, but do not have it. 80% of people do not, or I'd say 99% of people do not have it. So I don't really include it in my complete set. From what I understand, most people do not. So your 95 New Orleans and San Francisco are hard dates. Your 96S is a tougher one in higher grades. And really the next one would be your 03 O, that 1903 O New Orleans. That's at least a $500 to $600 coin. So you've got about 6 coins here that are going to cost you at least $500 to $600, $700, $800 a piece, and that's when it gets really tough. Now there are other semi-key dates and harder dates, like all of your Carson City. If you get a Morgan that has the CC on the back at Carson City, them are going to be more expensive coins. They start around $90 to $100 for a wore out one. So all of your Carson Cities are going to be more expensive dates. So just be aware of that. And as your grade on the coin increases, like if you go from an AG to a fine or extra very fine and to AU, your grades are going to increase, and that makes the price point increase. So this coin, we'll say, was $2,000. When you go to a good, it can go up another $1,000 pretty quick. So that just shows you can put a set together for $15,000, or you can put a set together for $25,000 or $40,000. It just depends. If you want high grades on everything, your numbers are going to double what mine are. So that's just kind of an ideal of what to look for when you put your set together. I'll show you some coins now, and I'll just kind of run through them. That starts at 1878, and I showed you these a second ago. I've got a nice Carson City. I know they have glare on them from the little plastic piece that goes over them, but and this Dansko album is so nice. Like, it tells you a story about it, and on the very last page it tells you the mintages of every coin. So I'll let you look through some of mine. All the Carson Cities are going to be more expensive, and you can tell on the pages, like, basically which ones are Carson Cities, because they're going to have a lot more wear on them versus your common 80S's or 81S. And I'll just want to flip through them real fast. Carson City, Carson City, Carson City. And you can tell, like, they have wear on them. And even when you go from a grade like a fine to a very fine, like, your price can increase so much. 81S, and a lot of the 81S's have like proof lock, or they just made so many of them, and they all have really good details. 84S, 85 or 84cc, sorry, 85cc. Here's my 89cc. And that's really it. Now, if y'all want to see a particular coin, just let me know in the comments and I'll do a video over it. So this is the 91 through 1921. They stopped in 1904, and then they picked it back up in 1921, and then they started making the peace dollar. So we got your 91cc, 92cc. Your 92S's are harder grades. So as the grade gets better, this thing really jumps. I mean, it can jump from $500 to $10,000. It's crazy. 93cc is a hard year to find. 93.0. Here's the 93S spot, and I've got it graded. This 94 is really nice. It has some toning on it, and that was the better condition one I've got. The other one is wore out. It probably looks like that. But these 94s are a tough year. 95s, there's an empty spot for that proof. This 89's a harder year. Or, sorry, 99. 1899 Philly. That's a tougher year. And it's just so nice to look at this album and it be full. I spent so many years of it just with 1 or 2 coins on each page. 030 New Orleans. That's a tough year. And your 21s. And seeing it goes to 04. And then it jumps to 1921. And again on this one, and I'd bought this 030, and I'd put the little sticker in here. It was graded and I busted it out. So it tells the mintages, the years. So that's really nice. That's one reason I like these Danskos. But that's really it, guys. I really enjoyed this set a lot. It's been a fun journey, and it don't really end when you get all of them, because when you get all of them, some of them you have really wore out condition coins, and you know what you want to do after that. You want to try to start upgrading those coins. So if I can find a good one, I may sell this and replace it with a better condition one. So you want to get as nice of condition set as possible. I do have another date set that I'm working on, and it's low condition, like poor condition coins. So I'm working on that right now. That's really fun to find slick, wore out Morgans and put them in a set. That's just as fun as finding these, and it's a little cheaper too, so it even makes it more fun. But it's fun. I've enjoyed this. I'm not done collecting. Every time I see Morgans, I buy them if I can get them for a right price. I'm currently working on another set. I've got about 4 or 5 coins I need to complete another set of Morgans. So I'm just trying to upgrade them as I go and find good quality condition ones. But that's really it, guys. I just wanted to show you my set and talk about my journey on collecting Morgans. I appreciate y'all for hanging around. Don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments how you're doing on your collection and what coin you're working on getting and how much you enjoy it. So I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And y'all have a great weekend. See you later.